that really cooked.
The frittata is, at its core, a reflection of the internal contents of the fridge. A tapestry of produce and meats ranging from old to miscellaneous. The frittata is a controversial dish as it sits somewhere in between an omelet and a quiche. This unmitigated compromise has had the effect of uniting all but the most party-line dogmatists on either side of the egg pie wars in their hatred of the frittata. A seething hatred that sees the frittata as treacherously cherry-picking only the choicest of qualities from both the omelet and the quiche, and thereby undermining the legitimacy of the egg pie wars and threatening to make a mockery of this generational blood feud that I
just made up.
All right, let's cook this controversial egg dish, shall we? Follow me to the measuring cup. Let's start with the frittata base. This amount will yield 3 to 4 little frittatas or 1 big one. Into a measuring cup, deposit exactly 1 egg from 7 chickens or 7 eggs from 1 exhausted chicken. Then to both season and flavor your frittata base, grate in some type of hard aged cheese. I'm using pecorino and parm. Scrape up whatever old milk shavings you spilt and add them back into the mix. Then give it a stir. I had some leftover cheddar as well that I used. Then add in a hearty glug of cream. That looks like about 100 mils, so maybe more on the coronary side of hearty. Then give it a stir and add in some final flavorful food fragments. I'm using black pepper and cayenne. Also, season with some salt. I'm going to make 2 flavor profiles, one highlighting mushrooms and herbs, the other some bacon left over from a previous video. The next step is super easy. Just chop up all your ingredients really small and saute each one until cooked to your liking. Drop some butter into a pan and then toss in your chopped shallots and garlic. Now, normally I'd grate the garlic, but for this I specifically wanted big pieces of caramelized garlic chunks. The caramelized shallots and garlic will take the longest because you've got to use a low heat to really bring out those sugars. If you play it fast and loose with the heat or with the walking away, your caramelized onions will become resentful. Mushrooms are sort of the opposite. Use a high heat to draw out and quickly evaporate the moisture in the mushrooms, and using that very moisture to deglaze the pan if any fond forms. Also, quick side note, before you start recording, salt those mushrooms. We're going non-chronological today, folks. Before all that stuff that just happened happens, boil a potato until you can pierce it with a sharp stick. Then remove it, let it cool, and slice it up into slices and fry those slices in a dirty pan until each side is golden brown. Although in hindsight, I probably should have chopped up the potatoes and then fried up the bits so they all became maillarded, seeing as I just chopped up the fried slices in the end anyway. While all that drama with the filling ingredients was taking place, preheat your oven and retrieve from it a compact cast iron. If you don't have a compact cast iron, just pause the video, come back when you do. On your first attempt, if you can, put some butter into your hot cast iron and let it melt. This will help crisp up the sides of your frittata. Then pour in your mix until about 2/3 of the way up and add in your fillings. I gave mine a stir, but they all kind of sank to the bottom, so maybe just chill and don't mess with it so much. I cooked it at 275 degrees Fahrenheit as I found that this lower temperature allowed everything to cook a little more slowly and evenly so as to avoid the dreaded frittata sponge, a severely demoralizing personal failing. Check on it periodically, and in about 20 or so minutes it should rise up golden brown. As you take it out, it will let out a long, silent exhale. Now, what you're bearing witness to is the spirit of the mighty chicken dissipating as it surrenders to the frittata. Then do the same procedure with the bacon. All right, here we have a little sampling of our frittata, so let's see how we did. The flavor profiles are great. I mean, bacon truly is the diplomat of meats. It brings together the sweetness of the caramelized onion and the garlic with the depth provided by the thyme and the cumin. And for those of you who think that bacon can't be topped, let me tell you something. This mushroom one that's in my teeth right now might even be the better of the two. I mean, mushrooms are more animal than plant, right? I mean, this is what I've gathered from my research of watching people who have watched others who have claimed to have read the scientific literature have to say on the subject. At any rate, mushroom potato rosemary is a winner for sure. Well, folks, that's it for the egg pie wars. And just like with non-fictional wars, the real winner was the guy who sold me the eggs. And as always, do what you love because nobody cares and it doesn't matter.